a group of 5 friends, Emma, Jack, David, Olivia, and Lucas, decided to embark on a camping adventure in a remote forest known for its eerie reputation. They were excited to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and spend a few nights under the stars. Little did they know, this trip would change their lives forever. On their first night, they stumbled upon an old, weathered journal buried beneath a pile of leaves. The journal contained disturbing accounts of past hikers who had mysteriously disappeared in the forest. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, they began to read the entries, which spoke of strange whispers and voices that echoed through the trees at night. As darkness fell, the group gathered around their campfire, trying to shake off the unease. Suddenly, faint whispers filled the air, sending chills down their spines. The voices seemed to come from all directions, making it impossible to pinpoint their source. They dismissed it as their imagination playing tricks on them. But then, things took a sinister turn. Unexplained shadows danced just beyond the firelight, and eerie figures seemed to lurk in the darkness. The forest felt alive, watching their every move. The next morning, they woke up to find that David had disappeared without a trace. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Determined to find their friend, Emma, Jack, Olivia, and Lucas scoured the forest, following the clues left in the journal. The deeper they ventured, the more they encountered the forest's dark secrets. They discovered ancient symbols carved into the trees and stumbled upon remnants of past campers who had met a grim fate. As they pieced together the puzzle, they learned about the legend of the Keeper of the Woods, a ghostly guardian who preyed on those who dared to disrupt the natural balance of the forest. The Keeper was said to have the power to manipulate the forest, creating illusions and leading campers astray. One night, as they were on the brink of losing hope, they heard David's voice calling out to them. Following the sound, they found him standing at the edge of a clearing. Relieved, they rushed to him, but something felt off. David's eyes were hollow and filled with a sinister glow. They soon realized that David had been possessed by the Keeper's spirit. In a terrifying final confrontation, they had to muster all their courage and wits to free their friend from the forest's grasp. With the journal's help, they performed an ancient ritual to break the curse and banish the Keeper once and for all. As dawn broke, the forest fell silent, and the friends, battered and shaken, emerged victorious. They had unraveled the forest's dark secret and survived the Whispering Woods. But the experience had left a mark on them, a haunting memory that would stay with them forever. Max had always loved hiking alone, seeking solace in nature's embrace. One sunny morning, he decided to explore a secluded forest trail he'd read about online. The trail was known for its untouched beauty and isolation, perfect for a quiet adventure. As Max hiked deeper into the forest, he met another hiker named Ethan. Ethan was friendly and offered to show Max some hidden gems along the trail. At first, Ethan seemed like a great companion. He knew the trail well and shared fascinating stories about the forest. However, as the day went on, Max noticed something odd. Ethan would vanish from sight only to reappear in impossible locations, ahead of Max or behind him without making a sound. As dusk approached, Max and Ethan set up camp. Max's unease grew as he found eerie symbols carved into the trees and rocks near their campsite. When he asked Ethan about them, Ethan just smiled cryptically and changed the subject. That night, Max couldn't sleep. The forest seemed to come alive with unsettling sounds. Whispers, footsteps, and rustling leaves. In the flickering light of his campfire, Max saw Ethan's figure moving strangely in the darkness, almost as if he were gliding rather than walking. The following morning, Max discovered an old decaying photograph in his backpack. The photograph showed Ethan with different groups of people, all of whom looked terrified. Max realized that these were the missing hikers he had read about online, hikers who had vanished without a trace. As Max confronted Ethan, the truth became horrifyingly clear. Ethan revealed that he was a cursed spirit trapped in the forest for centuries. He was doomed to lure unsuspecting hikers to their doom in a desperate attempt to escape his own fate. Max's heart pounded as Ethan's appearance shifted, revealing his ghostly, hollow-eyed form. With his survival instincts kicking in, Max fled through the dense forest, the phantom hiker in relentless pursuit. The forest seemed to conspire against him, with branches snagging his clothes and roots tripping him up. Max's breath came in ragged gasps as he remembered the symbols he had seen earlier. Recalling a story Ethan had told him, Max found the largest symbol and traced it with his finger, whispering a desperate prayer. The forest fell eerily silent. As he turned, Ethan was gone. His spirit banished by the ancient symbol's power. Max emerged from the forest, exhausted and shaken but alive. He swore never to hike alone again, haunted by the memory of the phantom hiker. The forest held its dark secrets close, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its depths. The Johnson family, consisting of parents Mark and Lisa and their two children, Emma and Noah, decided to take a break from their busy city lives and go on a camping trip. They chose a remote forest known for its scenic beauty and tranquility, eager to spend quality time together and disconnect from their hectic routines. After a long drive, they arrived at the campsite in the late afternoon. To their surprise, they found an abandoned campsite nearby with tents, camping gear, and personal belongings left behind. It looked as if the previous campers had vanished suddenly. Despite the eerie sight, the Johnsons decided to set up their own camp, thinking the abandoned site added a sense of adventure. As dusk settled in, the family gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. The forest seemed peaceful, with the sounds of chirping crickets and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. However, as night fell, the atmosphere began to change. The first strange occurrence happened while they were sitting by the fire. They heard faint rustling noises coming from the trees, followed by what sounded like footsteps. Mark and Lisa exchanged worried glances but assured the kids that it was probably just animals moving about. However, the noises continued, growing louder and more distinct. The sounds of distant screams sent chills down their spines. Emma, the youngest, pointed towards the edge of the campsite, where she saw a ghostly figure standing among the trees. It was a pale, translucent shape that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. Noah saw it too and gasped in fear. Mark grabbed a flashlight and shone it in the direction of the figure, but it vanished instantly. Despite their unease, the family decided to stay together in the tent for the night. They hoped that whatever was happening would pass by morning. But the forest had other plans. Throughout the night, strange occurrences escalated. Emma's teddy bear went missing, only to be found later. placed neatly outside the tent. The family's belongings were mysteriously moved, and some items disappeared altogether. The fear in the tent was palpable, with everyone huddled together, unable to sleep. In the morning, Mark decided to investigate the abandoned campsite more thoroughly. He found an old weathered journal hidden beneath a pile of leaves. The journal belonged to a previous camper who had documented their experiences in the forest. The entries spoke of disturbing noises, eerie sightings, and possessions moving on their own. The very same experiences the Johnsons were having. The final entry in the journal revealed a chilling discovery. The abandoned campsite was a gateway to a parallel dimension. Past campers had become trapped in this dimension, reliving their last moments in a nightmarish loop, unable to escape. Realizing the danger they were in, Mark and Lisa decided to leave the campsite immediately. They packed up their belongings in a hurry, urging Emma and Noah to stay close. As they made their way back to the car, the forest seemed to come alive with sinister whispers and ghostly figures. The path they had taken to the campsite now seemed unfamiliar and twisted. As they tried to navigate their way out, the Johnsons found themselves returning to the abandoned campsite over and over again. It was as if the forest was trapping them in a loop, forcing them to relive the nightmarish events. The ghostly figures became more aggressive, appearing closer and more frequently. In a moment of clarity, Lisa remembered the journal and the clues it contained. The final entry spoke of a ritual that could break the curse and close the gateway to the parallel dimension. With trembling hands, Mark and Lisa gathered the necessary items mentioned in the journal. A piece of the forest's heartwood, a drop of blood from each family member, and a symbol drawn in the earth. They performed the ritual with hope and desperation, chanting the words written in the journal. The forest grew silent, and the ghostly figures halted their approach. For a moment, everything seemed to hang in balance. As the ritual concluded, a blinding light enveloped the campsite, and the ghostly figures dissolved into mist. The forest's oppressive presence lifted, and the Johnsons found themselves standing on the edge of the campsite, with the path to their car clearly visible once more. Exhausted but relieved, the family quickly made their way back to the car. They drove away from the forest, leaving the abandoned campsite and its dark secrets behind. The experience had left them shaken, but they were grateful to have escaped with their lives. Back in the safety of their home, the Johnson family couldn't shake the haunting memory of the abandoned campsite. The journal they had found remained a grim reminder of the parallel dimension and the campers trapped within it. They vowed never to return to that forest and to cherish every moment of their lives, knowing how close they had come to losing everything.